What is goody, gang? How y'all doing today? You already know what's goody. It's your boy. It's your boy Mark. I wanted to check in, just do a little life and creativity vlog. I think I don't know, I was just thinking about a couple things real quick, and obviously, as always, I feel like it's just important for me to just try to capture it and share it with you guys and see what you guys think and how you guys feel about it, you know? And you know, I was just thinking about how when I was younger, when I was a kid, I used to like stress a lot, and not even as a kid, really, like for the majority of my life, really, like my adolescence, my teenage years, and you know, a lot of my like adulthood, you know, like I struggled to figure out what direction I wanted to like head in my life, you know. And I feel like, you know, you guys looking at me now, you guys see me do music, and you guys probably think like oh, like he you know, he knows what he wants, and like, or at least I feel like nowadays I know what I want and I pursue it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you guys see that, but it wasn't always like that. It was not always like that. Again, for the majority of my life, I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to pursue and what direction I wanted to head into. Most people, you know, like my parents and family and friends, you know what I'm saying, they always seem to have had like a plan, or like did, you know, like my friends went on to college after high school. You know, my parents were constantly telling me I had to find a job and like do these kind of things. You know, when I was like 26, I didn't have any health insurance, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And where, you know, they're like, people are telling me like, hey, you gotta grow up, you gotta figure something out, you gotta like start moving in a direction, you know what I'm saying? Even then, I didn't know like what to pursue, and it just made it more like stressful, you know what I'm saying? And the question I kept asking myself was like, how am I supposed to know what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, how am I supposed to know that, right? Like, how does anybody know that? How does anybody know what they want to pursue for the rest of their life? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you go to college, you pursue an interest, you graduate, you get a degree, and that's not even the thing you want to do. Like, that's, you know? Or any other, sorry, this is hurting my arm here, but or any of the other what am I saying, any other, you know, circumstance or situation you could fucking think of, you know what I'm saying, where you put money and you do all these things to try to commit, or like, you know, you hear everybody telling you that you need to pursue like a specific direction, so you head in the direction that you think they want you to head into, and then you end up unsatisfied and unhappy, you know. But you know, now that, you know, I do like I pursue my music, and this is something that I do like almost like full time, you know what I'm saying? It takes up most of my free time, and a lot of the money that I make at my real job. What I'll say is, you know, pursuing this passion throughout my life has taught me a lot of lessons. And even when I feel like I need to put this phone down. Even when I was like wandering through life like aimlessly without any kind of direction, I always pursued music. I always had that interest, but you know, I also had hella self-doubt to a point where I didn't necessarily believe that was like an option, or like something that, you know, I could pursue full time. And I always just struggled with like figuring out what it is I should be doing. And if I'm being completely honest, man, like in response to that, because I didn't know what direction to head into my life, or to direct my life, I wandered through it aimlessly, and I got into so many different things that didn't serve me, that had no true purpose for me, you know, and as a response, as like a consequence, you know what I'm saying? And so, I didn't just come out here to talk about my life. Like, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I feel like it's a very common problem. You know what I'm saying? Most people I know struggle with this problem. Most people in a fucking 9 to 5 struggle with this problem. You know what I'm saying? Even people that went to school and college, like I said, and did all that, they struggle with not knowing what direction to point their life. And while I might not have the answers, the direct answers that you need to or the course of action that you might specifically need to be taking, I do have some advice. So, my first piece of advice is you do not need to know. Okay, you don't need an answer to know like what direction I need to. Like, you don't have to have the answer, right? You don't need the answer. What you need are interests and curiosities. Okay, and you have to also understand that, like, you don't have to commit to anything. Okay, these are just different options to pursue for the moment until you find something, right? So the idea is you start creating little tasks and goals for yourself, and you pursue them. Small ones that are totally achievable, and it's not about achieving goals here or accomplishing anything grand or too big. What's not important is knowing the answer, what it is you want to do. What's important is to have a couple curiosities, things that interest you, things that might just catch your attention, and make a plan to try to pursue one at a time. And again, you don't have to marry these things. They could just be something to occupy your time, so you're not at the crib playing video games or fucking watching TV and not doing anything with yourself. For the people that want to get up, that want to do something with themselves, that feel the urge the need to do more, but don't know what fucking direction to go. I'm telling you, man, just pick one random little thing that interests you, and don't marry it, and just fucking pursue it. Because again, what's gonna happen is, like, I'm gonna give you an example here, but in context of my life. Okay, I knew that, and this is a simple one that most people I feel like might be able to relate to. When I was working at the bar, I was in a dead-end job. I was so unsatisfied with my life. I was so unhappy. I literally physically hit a rock bottom. In my personal relative to me, I hit rock bottom. And what happened was, I got to a point where I was like, I decided, okay, like, how do I get out of here? What are the things I need to do? I know, I had a moment where, like, I realized I want to try to pursue music, right? But again, it's not about coming to terms with what I wanted to do. What I'm saying here is just the task of figuring out, like, what's my first step, okay? And then I was like, okay, let me go get this, like, studio. I need a studio space so I can rent and make music and, like, vibe out and create an energy and all these different things, right? So, I went and I started doing my research into getting a studio. Now, what that entailed is taking notes, doing research, going online, finding these different places, writing down the information, calling the people, talking to them, asking about the prices, the rent, all these different things, right? Just the curiosity enough of wanting to maybe probably try to pursue music set me off on a laundry list of tasks that opened up, to me as I started these courses. I should say, I'm not even at that studio anymore, right? It's not even about that fucking studio. What it was about is the course of action had taught me a lot in terms of how to pursue something, the research that might go behind it, how to talk to somebody and ask the right questions, and how to do business. This is business that you're doing at the end of the day. That lesson completely correlates to, like, all the other endeavors that I ended up pursuing later on in life, whether that was, like, making the t-shirts, or hosting the event, the weed event, all these different things. That all came from the lessons that came from my first course of action, right? So what I'm saying is, you don't necessarily need the answers, but as you move through these things, and as you move through these goals and try to figure out to figure out the next step, what else that if you have a certain curiosity, figure out what steps you might need to take, and then figuring out that course of action, that process is going to teach you so much and show you so much and open so many possibilities and for you to pursue, what I'm saying, in terms of passions and whatnot, you know what I'm saying. Here's another example, okay. I'm trying to again, like, the thing is, I'm gonna smoke this joint real quick. Goddamn. That ultimately you're gonna end up in a place at the end of these pursuits and these curiosities, that you are gonna realize so many things on the way. You're gonna learn so many things on the way, and your perspective will change, okay? And you'll end up in a place that interests you, something that you want to pursue, something that you feel passionate about, you know what I'm saying? So you don't wake up, say, I'm gonna be a baker, and then you're a fucking baker. You have to express a couple curiosities. You got to say, man, you know what, I want to make some cupcakes. Let me make some cupcakes, right? Then you fucking make some cupcakes. You're like, damn, you had a blast. Those cupcakes were delicious. Then you say, let me make a cake. I'm gonna make a cake. You make a cake. You fucking eat that shit. It was delicious. You had a blast. You do that a couple times, you're gonna start to realize, man, I have a passion for this. What is it? What else do I need to do to become a baker? Maybe you start looking into how, baking school, baking techniques, you know what I'm saying? These different things that you probably, you stumble across these things as you go, man. You learn these things as you go. You know what I'm saying? So before I keep rambling on and on and on and on, I'm just gonna say, you don't need to have an answer. You don't need to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You don't need to know that. You just have to have a couple curiosities, a couple passions that sound interesting enough for you to try. And I'm not saying you need to, when I say pursue, I'm not saying like you have to marry him, but just have curiosity enough that you try your hand at it and see how far that may take you. At the end of the day, it's about throwing rocks and seeing where they land. You know what I'm saying? See how far they land. What sticks. It was over a course of action and time that I came to the conclusion that music was something I did wholeheartedly feel like I can do, that I want to do, and that is something that makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? But it first started with like, man, I want to make a song. Let's make a song. You know what I'm saying? How do I do that? How do I make? You know what I'm saying? How do I get a microphone? How do I set it up? Like, these different things, you know what I'm saying? Like, the course of action will teach you so much. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that meme, fuck around and find out. You gotta fuck around a lot to find out, man. You know what I'm saying? I barely started learning this in my later years, like when I was like 26 maybe. And I just wanted to share that here because I feel like there's people that could greatly benefit from that advice. So, that being said, I love y'all. Feral Troop, Drippy Drip, keep going. Mark Dan, you out. Peace out.